Hey you guys, okay, let's get real. Weeknights can be so busy and stressful, and you get home from work starving and have no idea what to make yourself for dinner. Well, it happens to people who love to cook, who don't love to cook. It happens to me, and I'm a chef and I write recipes for a living. So what I'm going to show you today is my easy, barely any cooking, barely any prep solution to make 3 hack weeknight dinners in 10 minutes or less. So what we're going to do today is base our meals on one protein that we've prepared, or again, I want to slash prep for you guys and make this really easy. It can be a protein that you didn't prepare. I picked up some grilled chicken at my supermarket in the deli case. I give you permission to do the same if what's holding you back from healthy eating is needing to bring home proteins like chicken and cook it. Go ahead and pick it up pre-cooked like that. But don't worry, what's different about this meal prep, we are not going to be making the same boring thing that you have to eat 4 nights in a row. I'm going to show you how to take those basic grilled chicken breasts plus some pantry staples and a few fresh ingredients from the store and turn it into 3 totally different meals so you will not get bored. As I go through each dish, I'm going to show you what I have on hand and what I picked up fresh to make it, but you can check out below for a list of everything you'll need. So for our first meal, we're going to make a really easy chicken and veggie stir fry. Now, remember when I told you to just hit the deli section and grab yourself some pre-grilled chicken to save yourself time? If you really don't like cutting up veggies and have no time, I love the prepared produce section too. You can get things like they call these veggie spaghetti, kind of like spiralized veggies, or you could also just get yourself a package of sliced up peppers and onions like this. Sometimes it's called fajita mix, but why not? If you're time pressed and you really hate to cook, go for it and just pick these up. It's gonna make healthy cooking and healthy eating that much easier. To get started, we're just gonna coat our pan with some cooking spray. You could also use olive oil, canola oil, coconut oil, really whatever oil you have on hand. So I absolutely love the jarred fresh ginger. I am not down with the jarred chopped garlic. Sorry, I know it's a great time saver, but I'm gonna show you what to get instead. I love picking up packages like this of pre-peeled garlic cloves, and even better, a lot of supermarkets have it where it comes in little individual packets like this, so it'll keep for a while in your fridge and you can just use up a clove at a time when you need it. And I'm gonna show you my really speedy way to mince garlic without busting out your knife. Okay, so if you've been following me for a while, you know how much I love my microplane grater. Check this out. You just run the clove of garlic over the top like this. Perfectly minced, finely minced garlic, no knife needed. And we're just gonna tap it into our pan. It smells amazing. So now that this is starting to kind of cook and release its aroma, we're just gonna add our veggies. Again, I grabbed some fajita mix. You could do spiralized veggies. This is a nice mix of different peppers and onion. Broccoli would work here. And we'll just give it a few minutes to cook. The key is when you're cooking veggies like this, you want to keep them fork tender. A mistake a lot of people make, they cook them for way too long and they turn mushy and soggy and wet and just not delicious. That especially applies if you buy spiralized or veggie noodles like this. These guys take like 2 to 3 minutes in the pan. These sliced peppers and onions are going for more about 5 minutes. So now that your peppers and onions are fork tender, we are going to add 1 chicken breast that I thinly sliced. So that's really the only prep you needed to do for this recipe so far, was mincing the garlic and slicing up chicken breast. After the chicken breast comes a little bit of your favorite stir-fry sauce. There are so many amazing flavors out there. I really love to keep a couple of them on hand in the refrigerator to put like a different twist on this dish whenever I want. So what's different about this stir-fry from other stir-fries you might have made, we're adding the chicken or the cooked protein at the end so it doesn't dry out. Usually with a stir fry, you add the raw meat in at the beginning, but here, because we're just putting it together really quickly, you're gonna put it in with the stir fry sauce. Give it a minute or 2 to heat through and combine all the flavors. So for options to serve your stir fry on top of, I really love putting it on top of cauliflower rice. It's nice and crunchy, it's an extra dose of veggies, very, very low carb. For those of you who aren't worried about carbs and things like that, or if you don't like cauliflower rice, I love these pouches of pre-cooked rice. You can keep them in the pantry and just microwave them for like a minute or so, and then you've got pre-cooked yummy rice to put your stir fry on top of. Something that I recommend you guys always keep in your fridge is a nice bunch of scallions or green onions. Now, the reason I love these, they last for a really long time, and you can just slice off the green edges to use as a garnish for just about anything. It's like a light, bright oniony flavor that complements a ton of different dishes. So here's a tip if you're gonna pick up prepared veggies at the supermarket. Always check the bottom of the container and kind of move it around and make sure it's not wet or slimy in there. It has totally happened to me. What I'll do sometimes is reach to the back of the display case because they actually put the newer stuff in the back. I worked in a supermarket in high school. It's a little tip for you. Here's how to make this last longer when you get home. What you're gonna wanna do is get it out of the container it came in and put it into a paper towel lined container of your own. That's gonna help absorb some of the moisture and give it a little bit of air around it just to keep it fresher longer so you can use it up throughout the week. So now it's Taco Tuesday and I'm gonna show you how to make healthy, really flavorful, why do I stumble on flavorful? Anyone else stumble on a word sometimes? The best tacos ever with ingredients that we have on hand that are way less fat and calories than Taco Bell. So to start, we're gonna use one of our chicken breasts that we've sliced up and shredded. That's again, pretty much the only cooking or prep you need to do for this taco recipe. Season it with your favorite salsa. I love keeping a whole bunch of different salsas around. This one's just a regular medium tomato salsa, but you could use salsa verde here, black bean and corn salsa. There are so many different great ones out there. Okay, now I'm sure you're like, Julie, that's salsa and chicken, big deal. But here's the thing that's gonna give it a great flavor boost that's so simple. Add a little bit of ground cumin to the mixture. I love cooking with cumin. It gives everything that earthiness, that flavor that you love in burritos. If you don't have any in your pantry, I really recommend you grab some cumin. It's one of my top 5 spices. We're just doing this to taste. You just need a little bit. By the way, cumin doesn't add any heat to your tacos. It's just giving it that rich, earthy flavor that we're looking for. Okay, once these are combined, you can either heat it up in a pan on the stove or cover it with a plate or some plastic wrap and just pop it in the microwave for a minute or 2 to heat up. We are gonna use corn tortillas today. Now, I love keeping these in the fridge or even in the freezer. All you need to do is take them out and again, microwave them for a few seconds or throw them in a griddle to warm up a little bit and they're ready to go. They add more flavor and they're just a little bit lighter than the wheat tortillas are. Okay, now I like a little crunchy garnish on top of my tacos. Another thing that I often pick up at the supermarket is just some pre-sliced or shredded cabbage or even coleslaw mix. You can just put it on top to add like a nice crunchy veggie garnish to it. If you wanted, you could add some shredded cheese here, you could add some black beans, you could add pickled jalapenos, whatever toppings you like on your tacos. But here's a little trick for you guys. If you like sour cream on your tacos, you definitely have to check out my video with healthy cooking hacks using Greek yogurt. It's a great substitute for sour cream and it really lightens things up. All right guys, we're gonna break out our scallions again. These are a fantastic garnish for tacos. Now, I am a huge fan of fresh herbs, and if you're doing a lot of healthy, lightened up cooking, it's a really good idea to get in the habit of using them. They add great flavor and color and just freshness to all of your dishes without adding calories or fat. I'm putting some cilantro on here. I know some people taste cilantro like soap. You can totally skip it, but I'm just gonna add a little bit and you'll see how pretty it looks and it's just gonna give it that brightness. You can see I'm just tearing the cilantro here, guys. You don't even need to chop it up. It's just bruises. You can just rip basil, cilantro, parsley. It's totally fine. Last but not least, please always keep lemons and limes in your refrigerator in the fruit drawer. They keep for a really long time, and in other videos and other recipes I'll show you how to use them to finish dishes, but limes are total natural on top of tacos. They add that great fresh flavor, and I'm going to give mine a little squeeze now. When it comes to the shredded coleslaw or the shredded cabbage, here's the thing, you could have added that to your stir fry, right? You could add it to salads throughout the week, but if you really just want a little tiny amount, you're cooking for one, you just want it for a garnish, check out your supermarket's salad bar because they often have things like that you can just pick up and it's gonna weigh nothing. It's not gonna be like a $15 lunch salad. It'll be pennies just to pick up a little bit of shredded veggies. Okay, so we did stir fry, we did tacos. Now let's make the easiest ever comfort food soup. We're gonna do an Italian white bean and vegetable soup using a ton of things you can keep in the freezer and in your pantry so you don't even really have to hit up the supermarket. So we are gonna start with some of that chicken broth that I was telling you should always have on hand. I really love these little tiny containers. It's just a lot more flexible when you're cooking for 1 or 2. If you did buy a full quart of chicken broth and you didn't use it up, you could just put it in a little container in the freezer to save for a rainy day. Next, we're going to add our trusty chicken breast. I've cubed it here. It's gonna be a lot easier to pick up with a spoon in your soup. Then a excellent pantry staple to always have, canned diced tomatoes. They have ones that have Italian seasoning. You could add spicy ones here. I just have some small petite cut because, again, they're a lot easier to pick up with your spoon. Next, another trusty pantry staple of mine, some canned white cannellini beans. This is kind of going to be like pasta fazool or pasta fagioli if you guys are Italian like me and you've had that. You could also add chickpeas here. But no matter what, when you're using canned beans, always take them out of the can, rinse and drain them before you add them to your recipe, just to get that saltiness and that solution off of them. Okay, so now to add some really healthy veggies to our soup, here is a really fast hack way to do it. Check out your supermarket's freezer section. I found these awesome grilled vegetables, eggplant, zucchini, red and yellow bell peppers, and onions that you can keep in your freezer to add to just about anything. This could have gone in your stir fry. You could add this to your tacos if you wanted, or you wanted to make vegetarian tacos. But today I'm going to add it to my soup just to give it more body and more flavor without cutting up veggies or actually even really cooking veggies. Now, to add a boost of flavor to your soup, I'm going to add 2 of my favorite spices to keep on hand in the pantry. I told you guys about cumin. These are 2 others. Italian seasoning blend. It's a mix of like dried basil, dried oregano, pretty much everything that makes things taste like Italian sauce or like grandma's cooking. We're gonna simmer a little bit in our broth. So you could use some of your fresh garlic in here if you wanted, but it might be a little bit strong since it's only gonna simmer in the broth for a few minutes. So what I'm gonna do instead is add some granulated garlic. I love using this instead of garlic powder. It just has a more real authentic garlic flavor, and it's gonna really round out our broth and give it great taste. So you guys, that's it. It's kind of like, you know how there's dump cake recipes? This is pretty much like a dump soup recipe. So once this is all combined, you're gonna cover it with a lid and just let it simmer for 8 to 10 minutes just for the flavors to meld and to defrost your frozen veggies and to heat everything through. I made enough here to serve more than one person, but I'm a huge fan of doubling soup recipes whenever I make them. They're like the best thing ever to put in a small container in the freezer for 2 weeks from now when you really have nothing in the house and you want a healthy dinner when you get home from work. So always double your soup. Some easy, fun ways to kind of spruce this up if you're not so worried about carbs or calories or Smartpoints. You could easily add some refrigerated or frozen tortellini in for the last few minutes of cooking to simmer through to give it even more heartiness. Another fun mix-in idea or topping idea is some nice prepared pesto, and this keeps for a while in the fridge too. It's a great flavor booster. And then finally, what I really do recommend splurging on is adding some grated Parmesan. It also keeps for a long time, and it's a good idea to keep sharp cheeses like this on hand because it adds that boost of flavor, but you don't need to use a lot. A little goes a long way, so you don't have to add as much. You're gonna keep the calories and the fat down. And finally, guess what? Your trusty old scallions are gonna be great on top of this soup too. They really do work on just about anything. I keep going on and on. Keep this on hand, have that on hand, have that in the pantry, in the freezer. You have to check out my video, Healthy Grocery Haul for One. It's gonna show you exactly what you should be picking up and keeping on hand so you can make easy dinners like this. So you can see how easy it is with just the tiniest bit of planning and picking up a few things at the supermarket. You can make 3 healthy, fast meals for one in no time. And these are also perfect, by the way, for all of you out there who really hate to cook. I hope this showed you how, by just combining a few ingredients, you can rock out a really awesome dinner. So if you guys liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and do me a favor too, I'm curious. Let me know in the comments below which hack dinner recipe you're gonna try first. And be sure to join me next week for another episode of Where Happy Meets Healthy. Thank you for watching.